It is indeed a great joy to see such a big gathering of you, dear people of God, as you are here with us to celebrate this joyful and historic event. We all are equally and eagerly waiting to hear what this institute is in the land of the brave. Now, I would like to request the following dignitaries to come on to the dais. Let us welcome our dignitaries to the dais. His Grace, the Most Reverend Peter Brian Wells, the Apostolic Nuncio. He was ordained a priest in 1991. Peter Brian Wells is an American prelate of the Roman Catholic Church who has spent most of his career in the diplomatic service of the Holy See. He was consecrated an Archbishop in 2016 by His Holiness Pope Francis, and he has been the Apostolic Nuncio to South Africa, Namibia, Lesotho, and Eswatini. Hearty welcome, Your Grace. His Grace Liborius Nashenda, the Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Windhoek. He was ordained a priest in 1988. He was appointed an auxiliary bishop of Windhoek and was ordained in 1999. He became the Archbishop of Windhoek in 2004. In 2022, he was elected as the new IMBISA president. He is the current president of the NCBC. Hearty welcome, Your Grace. Reverend Dr. Father Thomas C. Matthew, Prior General of the CMI congregation. Father Thomas was ordained a priest in 1983. As a great visionary, efficient administrator, and an educationalist, he served Christ University in India for a long number of years in various capacities. He was the principal and the first vice-chancellor of Christ University. He was elected as the Prior General of the CMI congregation in 2020. Hearty welcome, dear Father. Honorable John Mutorwa was born on the 17th of August 1957. He is a Namibian politician and current Minister of Works and Transport, a member of the Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO. Mutorwa has served in the National Assembly of Namibia as well as the Cabinet since 1992. Hearty welcome, Honorable Member. His Excellency Bishop Sithemebele Anton Sipuka, the Bishop of Umtata, South Africa. He was ordained to priesthood for the Diocese of Queenstown in 1988. The former rector of St. John Vianney Seminary was appointed the Bishop of Umtata in 2008 and was ordained to episcopate in the same year. He is currently the president of the South African Bishops' Conference, SACBC. Hearty welcome, Your Excellency. His Excellency Bishop Stanislaw Dziuba, the Bishop of Umzimkulu Diocese. He was ordained to priesthood in 1986. He was appointed the Bishop of Umzimkulu in 2008 and was ordained as a bishop in 2009 at Umzimkulu. He was also the champion of the youth in the SACBC. Hearty welcome, Your Lordship. Very Reverend Father Linus Ngenomesho, OMI, Apostolic Administrator of the Vicariate of Rundu. He was ordained a priest in 2006. He served as the provincial of the OMI congregation for a period of 6 years. He also was the Secretary General of the NCBC for 6 years. He was appointed as the Apostolic Administrator of Rundu in 2020. Hearty welcome, dear Father. Honorable Elma Jane Dienda was born on the 16th of November. Emma Jane Dienda is a Namibian politician and a teacher. She assumed the office in 2014 and is the member of the Parliament of Namibia. She is a member of the Popular Democratic Movement, PDM. Hearty welcome, Honorable Minister. Reverend Brother Hemigildis Paris, CMM. He was born in 1929. He joined the CMM Brotherhood in 1946. He was the principal of St. Paul's College for a quite number of years. He is one of the pioneers of the St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary. He was also a Secretary General of the NCBC for many years. He was once the Regional Superior of the Brothers in Namibia till 2015. He has served St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary as the teaching staff from the beginning, and he still teaches up until today. Hearty welcome, dear brother. Nashenda. Without wasting time, now we get to the time of felicitations. I would like to invite His Grace Liborius Nashenda, the Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Windhoek, for felicitation speech. Welcome, Your Grace.
I think I would not repeat again the welcoming, and the protocol has been established already. Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters. This is indeed the day which the Lord has made, and we are happy and are glad to celebrate this unique occasion of 25 years existence of our National Seminary. As the saying goes, everything has its small beginning. Likewise, St. Charles Lwanga Seminary started first as a diocesan seminary. And then the late Archbishop Haushiku had this vision, not to make it just a diocesan seminary, but to make it a national seminary. Hence, it became a national seminary. Today, we gather here as a family of God to thank the Lord for all the graces He showered upon our seminary for the last 25 years. It has produced so far, according to my records, 32 priests, diocesan priests. And for this we are grateful to God. We thank especially, in a special way, the CMI congregation and its leadership for taking this great challenge to come and take the helm of the seminary so that they can help the local church of Namibia to grow and to develop. Therefore, we thank them wholeheartedly. And lastly, I'd like to thank all the priests, deacons, religious, and laity for their continuous prayer and support in different ways, so that St. Charles Lwanga can evolve and become really self-reliant. So we thank you very much, and we ask everybody present here to continue to pray for our seminarians, for our seminary, for our lecturers, for our formators, so that they may continue courageously producing quality priests and prayerful priests. So may God bless our gathering. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Grace, for such inspiring words and words of encouragement. Before we continue, I would like to recognize the following prominent people. Honorable Muha, a chairperson of the National Council, Honorable Sylvia Makaona, the Deputy Minister of Fisheries, and Honorable Maureen Henda Mbeda. Now, let's join our hands together and welcome Honorable John Mutoro, the Minister of Works and Transport in Namibia, for a short felicitation speech. Welcome.
Thank you. Director of our program, Your Excellency, the Most Reverend Peter Brian Wells, the Apostolic Nuncio, Your Grace, our bishops present here this afternoon, I was told the protocol was established already, and therefore, brothers and sisters, distinguished invited personalities here, ladies and gentlemen, and obviously my colleagues representing the organs, the three organs of the Namibian state. Chief Justice, who is the head of the judiciary, members of the executive as were introduced already, and members of the legislature. Today, the year 2023 is exactly 30 days old. It is therefore, I believe, still appropriately fitting for me to start my statement by wishing ourselves, all of us, a peaceful, productive, and prosperous 2023 and beyond. I deeply and most sincerely thank the leadership of the Roman Catholic Church at the various levels of authority, and more especially the leadership of St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary, but also all the persons who were and are still involved in the actual practical organization of this magnificent historic event, the 25th Silver Jubilee celebration of the St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary. I'm thanking you for the kind invitation that you extended to me, both in my personal capacity, but also in my public capacities, because you also use the title Minister of Transport. But in my personal capacity as a Roman Catholic, and you extended that invitation in September 22 already. Very kind invitation, And if I quote from the invitation, the reason why you have invited me, and I quote, is to be with us as we celebrate the 25th Silver Jubilee celebration of our National Seminary. So it's a kind invitation, just to be here with you all and us all. To Father Taliat, I think he deserves, together with his colleagues at the seminary, a special word of thanks. I'm credibly informed that the primary task of St. Charles Lwanga Seminary is, and I quote again from that invitation letter, is to train prospective priests, religious individuals, as well as lay students, both spiritually and academically, in order to become productive future leaders, close of quote. Now let us look at this word training. Training is essentially an enrichment. It is a guidance. It is an empowerment. It is a teaching. And you can add all kinds of good words. Training is thus to teach a person or an animal a practical skill or a type of behavior through regular practice and instruction. Now, training for a particular job or vocation certainly involves learning or teaching the skills, the values, the morals, the principles that are needed for such a specific job. It follows logically, therefore, that education and training are not and cannot be ends unto themselves, but rather means to achieve or to practically realize specific noble and valuable objectives for the benefits, obviously, of the individual who has undergone such training, but largely through that individual who has undergone the training for the benefit of a larger community, a nation, a country, a continent of the whole world. For those trainees who have successfully completed their training, I want to draw your attention, or our attention, to Matthew chapter 4, verses 18, 19, 20, and 21. And if misquote, please forgive me. The subheading there is Jesus calls his first disciples. How did Jesus select those people to become his disciples, to help him in spreading the gospels, the teaching? Now, I'm just quoting this specific part of that chapter. Jesus said, quote, "Come, follow me. I will send you out to fish people." At once they left their nets and followed him. If you read, he found people fishing. And then he said, "Leave your fishing, come and follow me." Now, the task was to go and fish for people. Not literally. Select the people, preach them, convert them. I think, Your Excellency, the Nuncio, I don't think I'm wrong to say that those that have undergone this training, you have decided and you have been selected and you have gone through the training to go now the world over and fish the people, train them, assist them and so on. Permit me also, before I come to the end of my statement, I think we have to look at the world practically. We live in a world today of major technological innovations and advances. We also live in a world where the social dimension of the human being, the morals, the values, the ethics, many countries are in trouble as far as that aspect is concerned. But the technological advances, we're doing well, going to the moon, going to all other places, inventing all kinds of things. But where do we draw the line, the balance between the human being who is responsible for all these advances and the good utilization of those advances? Why? Because inasmuch that we live in this world of technological advances, the same human being who is making all these innovations, these very same instruments, innovations, are also capable to destroy the same human being, to destroy life. If you look at the type of weapons that are made today, with one reason only, and that one reason is to make wars and destroy, sophisticated. We are sitting as we are sitting, all of a sudden you'll see, boom, all of us are gone. That is the world in which we live. We live in a world of climate change, disasters. But I'm saying also that the same human being with a spiritual depth, I think we're capable to draw a correct balance, not to destroy ourselves. So I'm talking also about the issue of where is our humanity today in all this? I'm talking about also the philosophy of humanism. Where are we, the Ubuntu? Now, the philosophy of humanism, when I prepared this statement, I was reading all kinds of books, but then at the end, I decided to concentrate on the philosophy of humanism as conceptualized, as advocated, and as practically practiced by the founding president of the Republic of Zambia, the late Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda. And I only quote one sentence that I think is appropriate to the occasion where we are now this afternoon. When President Kaunda stated the following, and I quote, "In all that we say and do, we should translate into action the notions of love, truth, social justice, and fair play." End of quote. And those are important. To what extent all of us are practicing those. Then lastly, the issue of transcultural leadership. Our societies today, many of us, many of the societies are not monolithic, but multi-ethnic, multilingual, multi-racial, all kinds of things, pluralistic societies. The question is, as leaders in all spheres, not only political leaders, all leaders, to what extent are we able to manage diversities without causing any exclusion? To what extent are we managing diversities in order to achieve and to maintain social cohesion, fairness, and also to make sure that peace and stability prevail? To what extent are we not paying more attention maybe to those issues that isolate people and therefore creating conflict? To what extent are we not only concentrating on the physical person? Because the physical person is very, very easy to handle. If I'm hungry, I'm sick, I've been injured, you can see. To what extent are we not concentrating on the physical person in terms of this one is rich, the other one is well-dressed, the other one is just a short person? But I think the time has also come that we need to look more at the inner person. Because the inner person, that's where we are all the same. You are not going to get blood that is black. The blood is red. If you look at the organs, the same. And therefore, I think it's important as transcultural leaders that we also need to look at not only the religious people or the political people, but in our societies. There is a big degradation in our societies. It is very heartbreaking to read, not to read, to witness violence, killings, almost every day. I suppose in our country it's getting worse, violence and all these things. So therefore, I think it is important that we all must, as our president keeps on reminding us, hold hands, join forces together, and do the right thing. Let me finally close my statement with some possible quotations that I've come upon. Don't need to agree with them, but I think it's important just to reflect upon them. You may not believe, you may not agree, but I think it's important. The first one I took from somebody called Ralph Emerson. Do not get where the path may lead. Do you agree? Do not get where the path is already clean. But also go, and I think our colleagues, the trainees, you will be sent to a place where there's no path, but where you are expected to leave a path or a trail. Other one, believe in yourself. You are braver than you think, more talented than you know, and more capable of more than you imagine. Somebody called Roy Bennett. This quotation is attributed to that person. Albert Einstein, this one, quote, strive not to be a success, but strive rather to be of value. Even if you fail, but what you have done is of value to those people that you are working with, I think is something. I think that's what he meant here. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. My colleagues, trainees, I suppose you have gone through hardships, studying, what have you, but it is a preparation for you maybe for a greater destiny. Proverbs 12 on discipline says the following, quote, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. But whoever hates correction is stupid." It's Proverbs 12. Go and read it, it's there. And I think there's much wisdom in that. Lastly, of course, Proverbs 9, verse 10, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." End of quote. Your Excellency, Your Grace the Bishops, brothers and sisters, I thank you all most graciously. May the good Lord Almighty continue to bless us all in our country, Namibia here, in our sub-region of SADC. You know, our leaders since yesterday, the leaders of the SADC Troika on defense, peace and security, politics, peace and security are assembled here in Windhoek under the chairmanship of our president to talk about peace and stability in our sub-region of SADC, also in our continent, Africa, and of course, the global village. Happy 25th Silver Jubilee celebration to the St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary, and congratulations to the trainees. I thank you most sincerely. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your powerful and meaningful words, Honorable Minister. Now may I invite Very Reverend Dr. Father Thomas C. Matthew, CMI, the Prior General of the CMI congregation, for the felicitation speech. Father, the podium is yours.
Since I am the third speaker, it may be very, very difficult for me to connect with you because many things what I prepared has gone already. And it is important to come over from India to this place since Carmelites of Mary Immaculate work in this place, especially in the seminary formation for 25 years. It's a proud moment for all of us to connect with all those who are the dais and off the dais and all you dignitaries here. A congregation which started in 1831 in the southern part of India called Kerala, and again by 4 people, Father Thomas Palakal, Father Thomas, don't worry about the surnames, and another Father Thomas Purukara. I'm also Thomas, so Thomas is very common. And the third one is Saint Kyriakos Elias Chavara and a brother Jacob. 4 people connected, but you have to remember the third one, Saint Kyriakos, was just ordained with us 25. And he were connected with the gurus, the teachers, and unfortunately, both the teachers died. One in 1841, the other one is 1846. So the whole responsibility of the formation of the congregation came to this young man, Saint Kyriakos Elias. But in the presence of all those people, in 1833, they started with the seminary. That is the most important thing I want to say. Seminary, why the seminary? There was a big debate in the founders. The seminary should be for the religious, or seminary should be with the diocesan priests. And the founder made the decision it should be both. And it happened. And that progressive way of thinking of the congregation worked. You have to remember, a lot of confusion started in the history of India. In 1500, you know what Vasco da Gama came in 1498, and 1500, happened, the more and more European missionaries came to India, and they thought, or they found a group of people already connected with Christians they could not accept. They were a re-Christianizing process, re-baptism process. Finally, in 1653, community was divided. One group is called even today Jacobites or Orthodox, and another group is Catholic. I'm just telling the history. And with that history, we started the congregation. One of the priorities of the congregation from that time till today is to administer the seminary formation. If you look into the history of this seminary, it is very difficult to identify how they manage. I find the first rector from our congregation, Father Thomas, and he had a very difficult time to adjust, probably. And that Father Thomas Maninerath, as far as I understand, spent around 10 years. Second rector is sitting there, a young man. Father Thomas was a teacher in our own seminary back in India. And this young man, as far as I remember, you were trained for this first in Belgium and PhD also from Belgium, am I correct? And after that, a young Father Benny was sent here to this now 23 years. And 20 to 23 years, knowing or unknowingly, we are getting old together. There is no dispute about it. And he grew young, but now he is much more than that. The successor of him arrived, that is Father Taiju. I have to thank all three fathers. One is in Canada now, others are here, for the great presence and great work they have done. When I saw Chief Justice of this country, great ministers of this country, great archbishops and bishops of this country and neighboring countries, how humanity joins all of us. I started as a chemistry teacher in a university. And chemistry is a subject I like very much. You all know what is H2O, right? Water. How water is formed, I don't know how many of you may be knowing. My counselors also maybe thinking, because they are doing psychology or they are doing theology or they are doing missiology. Sometimes little chemistry also is good for you. At least we should know what is water. H2O, there is a similar component or a system that is called H2S, hydrogen sulfide. Rotten smell, gaseous phase. Water is in liquid phase. It has three phases: liquid, gaseous, and solid. In solid, you find ice is solid, water is liquid, and vapor, you find three phases. Why I said? And why it happens to water? Any idea, chemistry people? It is because of an additional bond relationship between molecules that is called hydrogen bond. H2O, one molecule connects with another H2O through a hydrogen bond, is that bond. Oxygen, and only through bonds, it may be white or black, you may be colored or not colored, you may be from India or from any African countries, but finally, Catholicism shared that humanity and that kind of nobility of character and nobility of dreams. There are nuns from India here, nuns from our own this country, and fathers from different parts. Our missionaries, 72 of them working in African, about 7 countries. 80% of them are here. Why they have come for this celebration? Because we have to empower each other. How men living together without fighting is difficult, right? Women also is there, difficulty will be more. So what I said is, many provincials are there, don't worry about it. What I want to say, we live in communities. with one motivation, celebrating the differences. That is Jesus' message, celebrating the differences. We are all celebrating that Christianity, Catholicism. Wishing you all the best. Thank you in accommodating us for the last 25 years. Not accommodating, celebrating us with the last 25 years. Archbishops and bishops and leaders of this country are here, and it's a great learning for me how mutually we appreciate and becoming a water molecule. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Father Prior General, for your kind and powerful words. Jubilee celebration is an occasion to thank the Lord Almighty for his blessings and proclaim his glory to the whole world. Therefore now, we have the seminarians to dance for the Jubilee song. The lyrics for the Jubilee song were written by the seminarians of St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary. My dear brothers, the floor is yours.
It is the Silver Jubilee of St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary in Namibia. Let us celebrate, for the Almighty has worked wonders.
Congratulations to all of you, my dear brothers, for such a beautiful song and your nice moves. Let us again join our hands together and welcome His Excellency, Bishop Stanislaw Dziuba, the Bishop of Umzimkulu, South Africa, for the felicitation speech. The floor is yours, Your Excellency.
Archbishops and bishops and priests, religious, government representatives, and Father Rector, together with the staff and seminarians. It is our great joy and privilege as the Diocese of Umzimkulu to be part of the Silver Jubilee of St. Charles Major Seminary. Our adventure has started when our first 5 seminarians have joined the seminary in 2016. And some have already completed the studies and formation. And presently 11 are here to bring the unity in diversity of the local church and the life of the seminary. And the National Seminary became International Seminary. And I am grateful for this opportunity. I believe that patron saint of Seminary, St. Charles Lwanga, and his companions are still an inspiration for the seminarians. According to their words, a Christian who gives his life for God is not afraid to die. I hope that our future priests are not only afraid to die for Jesus, but fully serve him and live for him and for his church. That is why Umzimkulu Diocese is sending the seminarians to obtain this spirit of St. Charles and other martyrs, to inspire the people of today to be faithful to Jesus and to living according to his way of life. I would like to express our gratitude to the Church of Namibia, the bishops, the rector and staff of the seminary, for accepting us, giving the opportunity to walk together as one church of Southern Africa, forming the future shepherds of our Christian communities. I wish that the seminary will grow in numbers and the academic and spiritual influence of the local church and beyond. May the intercessions of the martyrs help to fulfill the mission of a seminary, which is not to form supermen who pretend to know and control everything, but to help seminarians become priests who are humble servants of the communities they continue to belong to, as Pope Francis said to the seminarians. Once again, I express our gratitude and congratulate the seminary on the Silver Jubilee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your insightful words, Your Lordship. Allow me to invite Reverend Brother Paris, CMM, who served St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary for 25 years. The floor is yours, brother.
Your Grace, Apostolic Nuncio, Your Grace, Archbishop Nashenda, and Reverend Dr. Thomas Matthew, the Prior General of CMI, all dignitaries, and all people who are in this hall. Celebrating a seminary is something special nowadays. I experienced that in my own neighborhood because 2 months ago, they closed a seminary for about 200 students for the simple reason, no candidates. This also happens. But the church regards seminaries still as very important. It was introduced by the Council of Trent, as you all know or will remember, from 1545 to 1563. Seminary has been related to semen's sowing seed. We sow the good news among the candidates for the priesthood. After Namibia, the Namibian church had become independent from South Africa. It became a church province in 1994. The NCBC received permission to start operating in 1996, Archbishop Bonifatius Hoshiku saw quite clearly the difficulties ahead, because the overseas missionaries became rapidly quite older. And there was a very low indication of getting new missionaries because there were no vocations in Europe, at least not. Archbishop Bonifatius was not prepared to leave his flock on their own. He decided to open a seminary, and he appointed a commission to start the preparations, such as a building, such as programs and promotion of the institute. So the commission came on quite soon with the request of building. Now the bishop decided to take for his seminary the buildings of the pastoral center in Klein Windhoek, because there was still a pastoral center in Ondjiava. So he could do that. Then, of course, that was the year 1996, and we had to be quick. Staff. Whom are we going to take as staff? So we took up contacts with the Vicar General, Father Nordkamp, who had studied at the University of Nijmegen. He was prepared, and he was actually quite enthusiastic to become a member. Then we went to Father Pulitzer. I'm so sad that because he is ill, he is not present here. He is one of these first teachers who came from his farm, Groenigas, Dornveld, in the early morning to come and teach. He was very good in that, and I still appreciate that very much. And he was still teaching while he was bishop, and he was teaching after he was bishop in the same way as I do at the moment. This was very important. Then, of course, there was a Swiss philosopher. There was an OMI missionary from Lesotho around here. And then Father Fisher, I'm not absolutely certain if he was among these first group, but he is a member of the staff for a very long time, so long that I couldn't remember overseas when he started, but I know that he was already a missionary before he came to the, and he is the canonists of the seminary. As I myself had studied my study on the Church of Namibia, they felt I also should start teaching. And that I did, and still doing. Father of Bishop Bonifatius looked to Father Nicholas, who was teaching in the seminary in Cape Town. And he also wanted him, not only as a teacher, but also as the first rector. This was very interesting that this type of staff was presented to the bishop. But the bishop decided to take the plunge. You have to start somewhere. And he did. on the 1st of February 1997. The seminary opened. I can't remember anymore very well how festive it was. In any case, not as festive as it is at the moment here, because we also didn't have very much money at that time. So, it was opened. And it opened, and that is now an interesting thing, as a diocesan seminary. And it was decided that the candidates of the Keetmanshoop diocese and of the vicariates in Rundu could send their candidates to Windhoek. But Rome said, no, this is not acceptable. It has to be a national seminary. So, it was a national seminary. And for a long time, it was a national seminary. Nowadays, when I look to my students, then I'm always thinking, oh yes, it was a national seminary, because here are my students from Umzimkulu and from Port Elizabeth. And not at the moment, but a few years ago, from Lesotho, and quite a big number from Botswana. So it didn't look very much like national. It looked very much like regional. But I have never heard anything from the side of Rome, so maybe they don't know even. So, the seminary started. But the first rector disagreed with this arrangement, and he resigned already. And at that stage, the relation with CMI started. And Father Thomas entered the scene. He was later followed by Benny, and recently followed by Father Taichu. I hope I pronounced the name properly. The result was that for 25 years, I have been working together with CMI. And that was one of the reasons I had a special word to the Prior General, because I was very pleased with working CMI. And when I come overseas, they're asking, who are these people over there in the seminary? I said, they are Indian Carmelites. And then they say, Carmelites, how is that possible? I said, I don't know how it's possible, but it is possible. I like them, and I work with them, and I am ready to keep on working with them, because it is very nice. And under this leadership of CMI, they built a beautiful orientation building for the seminary. You must go and have a look. It's very nice on the hill. Then they also built a library, which was absolutely necessary, because we were trying to get official government approval. We actually wanted that this seminary would be a college, conferring degrees. And after very hard work of Father Benny, where he was preparing thick books and questionnaires and whatever, inviting people to the seminary and going to many meetings. Eventually, the seminary also received permission to confer the first degree of the university bachelor. And now the seminary was going ahead, fully alive, completely ahead, with good buildings, with a good library. And I'm therefore happy because on my list it said felicitation. But I thought I had to give a history lesson because that is my job. And I have done a history lesson, and at the end of that history lesson, I must say, yes, with the help of the Lord, it succeeded. When I came yesterday here, I asked for statistics. How many of the old students are in a parish, are in a mission station? And it wasn't there. But today, it was there. It was alive. Because I saw all these old former students coming around, meeting me, and I was asking them, where are you? At Lwanga. Where are you? Yeah, I'm helping the Secretary General. And so they all had a place where the old missionaries had been. So I was so happy to see that, because that was the idea of Bishop Bonifatius Hausiku. He wanted that people of this country would take over, and they have done that. And now it is an independent church in full right. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear brother, for a history lesson. And we are extremely happy to see you one of the elders of this very seminary. Let us again join our hands together and attentively listen to Honorable Emma Join Dienda, the member of the Namibian Parliament. The floor is yours.
I think so. It's fine, thank you. Director of Ceremonies, I recognize the presence of our archbishops and bishops and all protocol observed. I was given 3 minutes, and now when I stood up, it went down to 2 minutes. But I welcome it because I'm having a flu and I will start coughing. That's why I'm having my water. And I don't want everybody to look now for your mask to put up because you think I have COVID. So I know everybody is afraid of COVID, but I don't have COVID. I was 30 times tested for COVID. Every time that I'm coughing, Dr. Tom do a COVID test thinking that I'm having COVID. But I'm just having a flu, so don't be afraid if I start coughing. It is indeed a great honor for me to be here today. Thank you, Father Taju, for the invitation. Your Grace, the Apostolic Nuncio, I don't know whether you can remember. Some few years back, we had a gathering here in the same hall. And I asked you, when will the church open the doors for us women to become deacons? And the Archbishop Nashenda said, no. But today I'm so glad I managed to at least sit amongst them. So I have achieved something. Because they don't want me to be a deacon. From the bottom of my heart, I want to be a deacon. But Archbishop Nashenda said, no. I want to thank all the people involved in the work with the Charles Lwanga Seminary, our seminarians, everybody. Thank you very much for 25 years of an excellent work. This is indeed a milestone that we have achieved, but we could not have done it without the help of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you for such opportunities like this, whereby we can come together as lay people, as clergy, as bishops, members of parliament, just to come together as Catholics. You must remember one thing. We as members of parliament, we are first human beings, and we are Catholics. So don't look at us as superior and so on. Treat us just, I don't say that respect must not be there, but I just want to feel, what is the word that I must use? If I want to hug Sister Jessie, I want to hug Sister Jessie. I don't want Sister Jessie to think, it's a member of parliament, she must not hug me. So, I thank you for this opportunity, Bishop Christians, that we can come together as Catholics, and you acknowledge that we do have members of parliament who are Catholics representing our church, whether we like it or not. If we stood up there and we say something, I must be a proud Catholic. Yes, when I stood up and speak, I must know I'm a Catholic. So thank you for acknowledging that Catholics, members of parliament, you are there for us, and we will always recognize you as part of our faith, as part of our congregation, and as part of our families. So congratulations to our seminarians, Father Taiju. Thank you very much. You are doing a great job. And we really appreciate it that you're coming from far. I know you said, I will do. You have an oath. But what you are doing for the Namibian nation and for our sons, we don't have words to say thank you. Thank you for all the others who were there before you. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And for our seminarians, please continue doing what is good. The ones who were there before you did a great job. Please make us proud. If we look at you, we want to see you as our children, as our future leaders. So please make us proud. Your focus will be to build God's kingdom. This will be your focus. With justice, with peace, and with love. I always said, I don't want a priest who have brown breads and white breads in his congregation. Let us all be black bread or orange bread. Please don't discriminate. And I thank you very much. May God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for such inspiring words of encouragement. And we promise you we are going to make you proud. To cherish, to recollect, and to remember this historic event of our seminary, we have compiled a souvenir. Our souvenir encompasses the history of the seminary, very intellectual and insightful articles, poems, and felicitations from bishops, etc. Therefore, people of goodwill, let us join our hands together and welcome the following dignitaries to come on the dais for the souvenir releasing. His Excellency Bishop Pio Hipunhati, the Bishop of Ondjiava Diocese in Angola. Honorable Chief Justice Peter Shivute, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Namibia, and Reverend Dr. Father Josie Thamawaseri, the Vicar General of CMI Congregation. Thank you very much, Bishop Pio, Chief Justice Peter Wells, and the Vicar General, Father Josie. There is one announcement that just came through the window. The car with the number plate GRN824, the lights are on. So the owner, please go switch off the lights of the car. Let's proceed. We are about to finish. His Excellency Bishop Sithemebele Anton Sipuka from Umtata Diocese in South Africa, you are welcome to the podium to deliver your felicitation speech.
Protocol observed. I would like to begin my word of congratulations first to the seminary and the staff. When I look at the students, I don't get an impression that you are trying to make your copies out of them. I see young men who are original in their culture, and I get an impression that you are fulfilling the intention that Archbishop Boniface wanted when he initiated this seminary, that he wanted to form priests in the context of their culture and environment. It's very clear. And when I see them engaging, I also have an impression that they are empowered young men. The way they are running on with things, and you are taking a back seat and you let them do things. Say something about you, how you are training people. You are offering a holistic education that make them feel confident. And I'm also glad, therefore, that I have one of my students here. So, congratulations to you. My second congratulation goes to the bishops. They are a conference of 2 bishops. And yet, their structures, including the seminary, are well in place, and they outdo some of the conferences that I will not name in terms of their structures through which they evangelize and through which they exercise influence in society. You are a proof of the work of the Holy Spirit, because I don't understand how a conference of 2 bishops can do so much if it is not the Holy Spirit. But also you are a proof of active priests, active religious, and active lay people. Because I really don't see how the 2 of you really could do this. Especially the 2 of you, you know. You are making this achievement because, as the Superior General has said, you are a bond together with your priests and religious and lay people. And so for that, I would like to congratulate you. As I stand here, Archbishop Nashenda and Bishop Willem, I just have a flash of another vision. What is crossing my mind now is the Catholic University of East Africa, called KUWEYA as an acronym. With this celebration of a successful 20 years, and with Archbishop Nashenda as the president of IMBISA, could this be the birth of the Catholic University of IMBISA? Archbishop Nashenda and Bishop Willem, I have an acronym for it. It's KWIMBISA. KWIMBISA, Catholic University of IMBISA. And while the general of the CMM is here, I would like to propose that the 3 of us have a special coffee with him towards this flash of vision that I have. And it is born by this successful 25 years. If you have made it for these 25 years with such success, why can't we make it for a regional university of IMBISA to be here? I pray.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your kind words. Reverend Father Vipin, CMI, the Bearer of St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary, you are welcome to the stage to propose the vote of thanks.
Distinguished dignitaries on and off the dais, dear Reverend Fathers, Sisters, Parishioners, friends, benefactors, and dear seminarians. As we come to the end of our grand Silver Jubilee celebration, let me gratefully acknowledge and appreciate the presence of all the dignitaries and our eminent guests present with us today, and the people who organized and toiled hard to make this day ever memorable. At the very outset, let us thank God Almighty for His abundant blessings on us and for guiding us in His loving providence. On this jubilant occasion, let me gratefully acknowledge the gracious presence of our distinguished dignitaries who all graced the occasion with their blessed presence. Thanks a lot for all your felicitations, greetings, and prayers. Thanks a million to all the provincials, councillors, superiors for your loving presence. A special word of thanks to all the CMI priests present here, as we also celebrate the Silver Jubilee of CMI presence in Namibia. Your gracious presence added more inspiration, meaning, and vibes to this celebration. Thanks a lot. We have a good number of priests and religious sisters with us today, friends and well-wishers of our seminary. Thanks a lot for your sacrifice and for traveling a long way to be with us on this joyful day. Thanks a million. We gratefully acknowledge the loving presence of different parish representatives, our friends, benefactors, and our specially invited guests. Thank you. Thanks to Hilary and team for the delicious catering service prepared for us. Thanks to Father Verano Shimi and his team, Turquoise Creations, for all the technical assistance. Dear all, our seminarians are the force behind organizing this wonderful celebration. They have been working hard preparing for the Jubilee celebration since few months in various departments and offices, along with the staff under the guidance of Father Taiju Taliet, our rector. Let us give a big round of applause to our beloved seminarians and the staff of seminary for preparing this great celebration for us. Let us be united in prayer and love, informing the future priest for the Catholic Church in St. Charles Lwanga Major Seminary. Once again, thanks a million to all of you for being very special and dear to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father, for the well-delivered vote of thanks. Now I invite the seminarians to come forth and lead us with the seminary anthem as we conclude our program. And I would like to request everyone to stand for our anthem. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you very much, dear seminarians, for the seminary anthem. Once again, I would like to thank you for being very dignified and wonderful audience. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Thank you.
Instruction regarding the food arrangements. 3 food serving booths are set for us. The first one is at my right side. That is especially set for the dignitaries and priests and religious sisters. You may use the right side door to go to the first booth. And other 2 booths are set at the foyer behind the hall. All others are requested to move to other 2 booths to have the food. So feel at home. Wish you all a lovely evening. Good appetite. Thank you so much.